Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about another cryptocurrency called FLR. Now, before we get into the actual white paper, let's take a look at the charts. If you take a look at the all-time high chart, you can see that FLR is sitting at a low price of 2 cents. Now, you have to keep in mind that this token was actually launched at the end of last bull cycle, right? So I think July 2022 or something. So theoretically, this has never actually seen an all-time high price, which is really good news for everyone because I think this project has a lot of promise. Now, if you take a look at the 24-hour volume, it is sitting at $81 million. It's 41% up in the last 24 hours, which is awesome. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the white paper of this project. FLR is the blockchain for data. It is a layer 1 EVM smart contract platform designed to expand the utility of blockchain. FLR aims to provide data as a public good, meaning that data is not controlled by a central entity and is available to all. The infrastructure providers, which perform doubly as validators and data providers, enable two native oracles, the FTSO and the stake connector. This native processing provides developers on FLR with efficient access to large amounts of data and data proofs at minimum cost. By giving developers trustless access to the broadest range of data, FLR can advance the development of more blockchain use cases where data is important, such as in DeFi, gaming, NFTs, music, and social news. Now let's find out a little bit more about how they actually get all this data. FLR has the following native data acquisition protocols at these stages of development. The FLR Time Series Oracle, FTSO, provides continuous estimation of changing data such as price pairs. The Stake Connector allows querying of verifiable non-changing data from other chains and the internet. The F-Asset system is being developed by FLR Labs. It allows tokens on blockchains that do not support smart contracts to be used trustlessly with smart contracts on the FLR blockchain. FLR Layer Cake is being developed by FLR Labs to provide a decentralized trustless bridge system between smart contract networks. Now, these are some of the protocols that these guys are developing, which is actually super impressive if you think about it, because most people that are developing crypto projects right now are really just focusing maybe on 1-2 use cases. These guys have 4 already, which is awesome. So let's discuss why somebody would choose this network over, let's say, another network. So it says here, FLR developers can work in a familiar Ethereum-like environment. It offers the same API and uses Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM, so Ethereum's Solidity smart contract can be used directly. Like Ethereum, FLR supports other assets such as NFTs. The FLR native currency, FLR, works the same as ETH on the Ethereum blockchain. For those contracts that can only work with ERC20 tokens, FLR can be easily wrapped as WFLR, which is an ERC20 representation of FLR. FLR's FTSO delegation and FLR governance are examples of such apps. Common blockchain tools like wallets, a token management portal, and block explorers are available on FLR. FLR is also EVM compatible, which means if there's any project that you were to build on the Ethereum network, those could just be ported over to the FLR network and easily changeable, which is awesome. Not only are they basically trying to position themselves as a data provider, but the most interesting thing about FLR's protocol is the F assets, right? If you create a F asset, let's say it's Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin right now does not have smart contract capabilities, though. There's only a very, it's a growing list, but there was only a few type of cryptocurrencies that were able to do smart contracts. But thanks to FLR, you're actually able to wrap that cryptocurrency. So let's say you're able to, you wrap your Bitcoin that you own in FLR and create a FBTC, right? That FBTC could now have smart contract functionality because it's no longer, you're basically adding extra layer of functionality using F assets. Now, I know that I think they've discussed wrapping Bitcoin and Dogecoin and XRP. So I think once they're able to test how these F assets work, more and more projects interested in the functionality of smart contracts will begin to sign up and wrap their tokens. All right, so now that we have kind of like an understanding of what Flare is, let's talk about what it's planning to do in the future.
Absolutely. So one of the things we're doing and have done during 2023 was conceptualize and start building what's known as FTSO V2. If you know the FTSO system well, it's Flare's native price delivery system. It's kind of what the network's actually based around, which is the idea that we have these validators who we call infrastructure providers that deliver data onto the chain. And they deliver that into two different systems. One called the FLR data connector, which is for blockchain state and web, essentially data from the web. And one called the FTSO, the FLR time series oracle for price data and other time series data. So we've been working on the FTSO V2. Currently, the FTSO V1 operates every 3 minutes with 15 pairs. Pretty much tapped out at about 15 pairs. So what we've done with the FTSO V2 is figure out how to massively scale it from 15 pairs to 1,000 pairs. So instead of having 15 data series, we will be able to, when FTSO V2 comes through, we'll be able to have 1,000 data pairs. And instead of updating every 3 minutes, it'll update every 90 seconds. And then there's a second part of FTSO V2 called fast updates, which allows that update to happen every block if needed. 90 seconds at a minimum, but every block if needed. So that's kind of going to be a massive utility, I think, for the network. Brings in things like stocks. As I said earlier, we're expanding as a DeFi protocol. We have perps dexes coming. We have people talking to us about doing synthetic stocks. You can bring in stock prices, weather prices, more crypto prices. You could probably arb the Bitcoin ETF because the ETF price is probably going to trade a little different to the underlying. So with the Bitcoin F asset, so FBTC versus, you could have some synthetic ETF derivative. It'd be quite interesting. So we think that FTSO V2 is going to really push the limits of what's available in the EVM world. We don't think that basically anyone would be able to get a better, faster, more decentralized oracle. And so we think that Flare will become a playground for DeFi through being able to massively expand the price data available for it. That's not really the only thing we're thinking about. DeFi is kind of the starting point. Bridging, of course, talking about roadmap, F assets and layer cake. F assets, again, to remind the viewers, trustless version of non-smart contract assets on Flare. Layer cake, super fast, trustless bridge between smart contract networks. Going to use Flare as a hub so that you can use Flare essentially to bridge from, say, Ethereum to Cosmos to Solana to Polkadot to Say to any of the networks, and definitely between ETH layer 2s as well. And there's some really amazing innovations with layer cake such that it is trustless because it has an element of collateral, but it's much lower collateral demand than the F assets. So because we're able to verify when a transaction happens. So we can immediately give that collateral back to the collateral provider. And that underlying collateral in a layer cake bridge makes the bridge very, very much safer than an uncollateralized bridge. So it's quite exciting. And then really the big thing for 2024 for me is AI. The founders come from a background of AI. Our chief scientist, Dr. Nairi Usha, has a background in quantum computing and in quantum AI. The team has been working very, very hard on an AI strategy, obviously being the network for data, having built this network of essentially collaborative data providers.
That was Hugon Filion, the CEO of Flare. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's a lot of use case in this project. Let me know what you guys think and if you guys are planning on investing. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.